The estate gates swing open under heavy rain. The black Range Rover pulls slowly up the drive as Prince William steps out, collar turned against the wind. Catherine waits at the top of the stone steps, arms folded, watching him approach. Inside the house, the children are asleep upstairs, but the real conversation is about to begin downstairs in the library, where Diana once read to William on rainy Highland nights. This isn't about a single decision. It's about the future of the monarchy itself, and who gets to shape it. William closes the door behind him. Water drips from his coat onto the ancient rug. Catherine doesn't speak at first. She simply hands him a thick folder containing the latest briefing from their private team of advisers. The subject line is simple: long-term positioning for George, Charlotte, and Louis. What follows inside those pages is the kind of plan that changes bloodlines and legacies, not tomorrow, not next year, but across the next 2 decades. The plan is ruthless in its clarity. George will continue his current schooling path, but with intensified private tutoring in constitutional history, languages, and public speaking starting immediately. Charlotte will receive accelerated media training and diplomatic exposure through carefully selected overseas trips with Catherine beginning at age 12. Louis will be given space to develop away from the spotlight longer than his siblings, but with the same underlying structure of duty and service drilled into every aspect of his education. The goal isn't to create 3 separate royals. It's to create a unified front that can carry the institution when William's reign begins in earnest. Camilla had no idea this meeting was happening. Neither did Charles. The decision to move forward without consulting them wasn't accidental. It was deliberate. Sources close to the Wales household say William has grown tired of watching the present reign bleed influence into the future one. He watched how slowly decisions were made under his father. He watched how personal loyalties sometimes clouded institutional judgment. He decided the Wales children would not inherit that same uncertainty. Catherine has been central to every detail. She reviewed the education proposals herself. She met with the chosen tutors. She personally selected the charities and causes each child will begin associating with in controlled, age-appropriate ways. People who know her describe a woman who has spent years observing the institution from the inside and quietly deciding what she will and will not allow her children to absorb from it. The warmth the public sees is real. The steel beneath it is just as real. The folder also contains something else, a separate section marked Risk Mitigation. Inside are detailed scenarios involving potential leaks, media storms, and most importantly, attempts by other members of the family to insert themselves into the children's public narrative. One subsection is devoted entirely to Camilla. It outlines how her public appearances with the children will be limited going forward. Not banned, limited. The reasoning is clinical. The children's image must remain tied to the direct line of succession and to William and Catherine's values, not diluted by extended family dynamics that carried decades of unresolved tension. Anne was consulted. Of course she was. The conversation happened weeks earlier during one of her regular visits to the estate. No aides, no notes taken. Just Anne and William walking the grounds while Catherine watched the children from the window. Anne's advice was characteristically blunt. Protect them from the circus. Give them the tools. Let them choose the life, but make sure they understand the weight before they carry it. She didn't mention Camilla by name. She didn't have to. Everyone in that family understands the subtext by now. Charles learned about the plan through a carefully worded letter delivered by courier rather than through a phone call. The letter was respectful. It acknowledged his role as grandfather. It thanked him for his guidance over the years. But it left no room for input. The decisions had already been made. Sources say he read it twice, set it down, and didn't speak for a long time. He understands better than most what William is doing. He also understands why. The same man who waited decades to become king now watches his son methodically preparing the ground for his own eventual reign. The circle of royal life turning once again. Camilla's reaction was quieter, but no less pointed. She was informed through official channels rather than personally. The message was polite. The exclusion was unmistakable. For a woman who has spent years trying to weave her own family into the broader royal story, this was another door closing. Another reminder that bloodline still matters more than marriage in the final calculation. She has built relationships with the children. She has tried to carve out a grandmotherly role. Now she sees the walls going up, quietly but firmly, around the next generation. The plan goes beyond education. It includes a long-term communications strategy. The children's public appearances will be fewer but more meaningful. Every image, every statement, every charity visit will be calibrated to reinforce the message of continuity, service, and quiet strength. No scandals, no unnecessary drama, no blurring of lines between the Waleses and the rest of the extended family. The monarchy the public sees in 10 years will look noticeably different from the one it sees today. Tighter, more focused, more clearly centered on William, Catherine, and their 3 children. Catherine has thought deeply about what this means for her own role. She knows the public loves her warmth, her genuine interactions with people, her devotion to her family. She also knows that warmth alone won't be enough when the crown passes. So she has begun preparing in her own way. Private meetings with constitutional experts, deeper involvement in the Duchy of Cornwall's charitable work, careful cultivation of relationships with Commonwealth leaders who will matter when William becomes king. She does all of it without fanfare, the same way she has always operated. Late that night, after the children are asleep and the rain has eased, William and Catherine stand together at the window, overlooking the darkened grounds. The folder lies closed on the desk behind them. They don't speak much. They don't need to. Both of them understand what they've set in motion. This isn't rebellion against the past. It's preparation for the future. A future where the mistakes of previous generations aren't repeated, where personal loyalties don't override institutional survival, where the children growing up in this house understand from the beginning what the crown actually costs. Somewhere across the country, Charles sits with the letter still in his hand. Camilla stands nearby, silent. Neither of them speaks. The weight of what has been decided hangs between them. The next generation is no longer waiting. It is building. Quietly, deliberately, irreversibly. The monarchy has always survived by adapting. This time the adaptation is happening on William and Catherine's terms. The children will grow up knowing exactly who they are and what will be asked of them. The institution will be smaller, sharper, more focused, and the line between the present and the future has been drawn more clearly than at any point in modern royal history. Diana would have understood. She always wanted her boys to be free to shape their own paths, while still honoring the weight of where they came from. William is doing exactly that, not just for himself, but for his children. Catherine stands beside him as partner and protector. Anne watches with quiet approval, and the rest of the family is left to adjust to a reality that is no longer negotiable. The folder has been opened. The plan is in motion. The future of the House of Windsor is no longer theoretical. It is being written right now, one careful decision at a time, by the 2 people who understand better than anyone what it will take to carry it forward.